What's going on, everybody? I'm Wyatt Mascarella. I'm making this video for a parent that is skeptical of online training. It's totally fair. You're allowed to be skeptical. It's a completely new thing. I'm just going to walk you through the steps, kind of what I have explained to parents, some of the questions that they've asked me directly, and we're going to kind of work through this thing together. But again, I'm just going to give you all the information so you can make an educated decision without thinking what's going on through the whole process, right? So typically what happens is you get a message from your son, or you talk to your son, you go, I met this guy on Instagram, we're gonna set up a time for a call, we wanna talk about online training, he does a lot of great things, I want you to see what it's about, right? Most parents are gonna respond to that as, okay, I guess we're signed up. Does he have any information? Does he have any website? Does he have any this? Any resources that he can send us? Absolutely. 9 times out of 10, you're gonna get at least 4 to 6 things before the time of the call. You'll get the website, you will get different testimonials from players that have already been inside the program that were honestly in the exact same shoes as you, right? Most parents that sign up to work with me, it is their first time working with an online hitting coach. So it's not uncommon to ask these questions. Again, that's why I'm going through this process. So again, this is where we're going in and kind of talking about it's okay to be skeptical. So I'm going to walk you through the exact conversations that I've had with parents, real live conversations. So one question that I got asked to me, why should we work with you specifically? That's definitely coming from a parent that doesn't have an understanding of what I do. Totally fine. So for this example, this parent was asking me why we should work with you because they have a really close friend that was a big league player for a lot of years, over 10 years in the big leagues. Really good service time, really good player, someone I actually got to personally meet, which is kind of an ironic story. But it's totally understandable. Why do we need to work with you when we have someone like that we could ask a couple questions to, right? The way that I like to explain this, there's a lot of people out there that are doing online training, for sure. There's a lot of people that are doing bad online training. What do I mean by bad? So I'm not the type of person that's going to sign your son up for 3, 6, 9 a year's worth of time, hand you a program, say we'll check in once every 6 months. That's not who I am. I get into the trenches with your son because I know what it's like to go through this process of figuring out a swing, understanding what it takes to get a good consistent swing and to build the foundation, right? So when you work with me, I'm not giving you something and telling you do it on your own. I'm walking the steps with you all along the way, building a plan, going over your mechanical analysis to understand what's actually wrong with the swing, sending that custom plan to you to follow on the daily 4 to 7 days a week, as well as giving you opportunities to message me 24/7 and giving you an opportunity to work with me 1 time a week where you can schedule a call and we can go over anything and everything. So again, when it comes to why work with me, accessibility is the biggest piece. You need to have a mentor that you can actually talk to. Most of you watching this obviously work. What are you looking for in your business life? The mentor that can get you the next level, right? It's the exact same thing that I'm doing for these players because I didn't have it. So I'm building this specifically for me when I was their age because I know what it takes to get to what these people want and what these players want. They just don't have the roadmap, but that's what I'm here for. Another good question that I get all the time, is this going to replace what they are already doing? I'm gonna say yes and no, right? So the reason why people reach out to me is because what they are doing isn't working. Not a lot of players are reaching out to coaches trying to get help when they are the All-American, just got drafted, signed for $3 million, just got NIL money to go to school, right? They're not really looking for that coach in that instance. Why? Because it's working. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Now, with that said, there's a lot of caveats to that. And what typically happens and what a lot of players ask or parents ask, well, my son just got done, let's use a high school player for example. My son just got done hitting 450 over the summer, but there wasn't enough power. Okay, so he had good results, but you weren't happy with the results, or he wasn't happy with the results, right? So you're still coming because what's working isn't working. Does that make sense? They're not getting what they want out of the swing, so that's why you're still looking for something else. So in that instance, we're not going to act like what you're doing is working, because in reality, it's not giving you the results that you want, so it's not working. So we're still going to attack that Am I going to say that this takes over everything? If you were going to a hitting coach once a week for 30 minutes, an hour, I would say that it's going to probably take over that. Why? Unless it's just someone that like is throwing you BP and that's time for you to get toss in, right? Like, you definitely don't want to contradict thoughts. And I do work with players that do have some other hitting coaches that they go to see, but again, it's more of a relationship of they just go because they throw them good batting practice and they can't get batting practice as often as that, right? So it's worth the investment to go work with that coach. But if you're in the extent of, well, I wholeheartedly believe that that coach is the person for me, then you kind of have to look in the mirror and say, well, what really is the goal here? Are you trying to hit for more power? Are you trying to gain exit velocity? Are you trying to have more consistent, effortless power? If that's the case, then I'm the person for you, 1,000%. I have the results to prove it, right? Over 100 players helped. The average that someone has walked in and got is 5 miles an hour. The majority that are higher level players, college and above, were 8 to 10 plus on the average. So it's looking at your player and understanding what they're really searching for and what they want, as well as what do you want as the parent. You're making the financial decision at the end of the day. So the investment is up to you. You need to make sure that it's going to make the most sense for not only your pocketbook, but for your player's future, right? So let's say it's a $3,000, $4,000 investment, but it's going to save you $60,000, $70,000, $80,000 in a scholarship, right? That's the investment in the ROI that I like to talk about with players, but you have to look at it from that perspective, right? If it's not worth that, then it's not worth it. Totally fine, I'm not the coach for you. Another good piece that I get brought up a ton is this actually less effective than in person? So many people can grasp the concept because you're in there holding the hand, or the player is being or the coach is holding the hand of the player in order to do those things. It's not less effective, I can guarantee that. Guarantee it's not less effective. It's drastically more effective. And that's not a sales line, not at all. Let's just look at the statistics, right? A person that goes to see a hitting coach one time a week, again, 30 minutes to an hour, you're getting 2 hours to 4 hours a month of training, right? That's not enough by any stretch of the means to do anything. College players work with their coaches 4 to 5 hours a day, 6 days a week. And then what are they doing? 2 hours plus on top of that, extra work, getting lift in, making sure they're recovering and taking care of the body, right? So if we think that 2 to 4 hours is enough, it's absolutely mistaken. Specifically in my program, most of the players get 5 days a week for training, and that is somewhere in the range of I would say on a quick day, 35 minutes to an hour of swings. So now you're getting 5 to 7 hours a week of work if you're going slightly over, right? 5 to 7 hours a week of work for 4 weeks. Not to mention, you're getting that extra Zoom call with me, however long we're messaging back and forth, right? So we could realistically talk about 30 to 40 hours a month of training that's actually specific for your player versus 2 to 4 hours of semi-specific, right? Like, yeah, they're watching your kid swing. Hey, you took a good swing there, you did this, you did that. But as soon as they go home, they get told what to do, but do they actually know that they're doing it right? And I guess the caveat to that is, well, how do I know my kid's going to do it right if you're not there to begin with? Because the drills that I send them, the messages that we send back and forth, the videos we send back and forth are making sure that your son is doing the right thing. It's foolproof in a sense of, if your son is capable of sending me video, relaying messages to me in the sense of how they feel, there's no way that they can't get better. There's no way. Way too much time goes into the swing that they're guaranteed to get better because they're doing the work. They took the first step of helping themselves by reaching out to somebody else. They're doing the next steps by doing the work, asking me questions, getting on the Zoom calls with me. Those are the highest return on investment right there. Having a mentor in your pocket that's actually there to help you and actually cares about your kid, that's the most important piece. Another piece I get asked a ton, what if it doesn't work? What's the refund policy? Well, first off, every payment is non-refundable. That's in the contract, that's just how that works, right? But let's say a player gets hurt, or an athlete, whatever, injuries are the biggest one, gets sick, right? Have to take 2 months off because they got mono or they broke their leg and they need to do whatever. That's where we have an adult conversation and kind of figure out what's fair, right? Now, 99.9999999% of the time, that athlete wants to work with me when they get back from that injury or from that sickness. So we just put a hold on it. As soon as they're back and better, you'd rather them build up with a coach that's actually been through injury versus them just going to the cage and taking swings and thinking that they're doing it right? So a lot of times that's what it ends up looking like, but it's a totally fair question and an honest question to be like, well, what would that look like? And to answer the first part of that question, what if it doesn't work? Again, there's no way for it not to work. I don't work with everybody that signs up to book a call with me, to DM me. I don't work with every single player. You have to be the right fit to fit into my mold of what I want to work with. And what I want to work with is younger me, the player that's relentless in their effort, obsessed with becoming the best player that they can be. Why do I want to work with that? Because that player pushes me to do more with them, right? I don't want to nag your son. If I have to nag your son because he's not doing the expectations that I set the first day of the program of sending me video, messaging, booking calls, immediately right there, that's grounds for him not doing the program properly. And that can result in being released from the program because he's not doing what it takes to actually get better, right? So again, that would be an error on my part of signing up a kid that's like that. That's why I do my due diligence of doing Zoom calls, messaging in the DMs, making sure that that player is exactly who I want to work with. Because if they are, there's zero chance that they won't get better. Zero. They're going to follow the program. They're going to book calls with me. They are going to message me. There's no way for them to get worse. Again, look at the numbers. Over 100 athletes trained, and the lowest number, the average that someone's gained is 5 miles an hour. That's getting better to the umpth degree, right? Most people watching this, your kid would probably look at you and say, plus 5 miles an hour would change my career right now. And that's the lowest end. I have players that have gained upwards of 20 miles an hour in my program. 15 miles an hour, 10 miles an hour is a very common number right now. And I can show you all of these right here, right here, right here, right here, right? So there's different pieces of this with testimonials and all those things. But again, if you're going this far to look into the YouTube side, this is a very, very good chance that you are already booking a call with me or interested in booking a call with me. So again, these are all great questions and great things that we get to kind of experience together right here. The next piece that I'm going to go through is proof. Obviously, I just showed you a little bit of proof at the back end there, but I'm not going to sit here and lie to you and say your son's going to make it to pro ball. I'm not. That would be a direct lie, right? Because the future's untold, injuries can happen, all of those things, right? But what I can sit here with and tell you with a straight face, the lowest, as I mentioned earlier, the lowest number that anybody's walked in my program and gained exit velocity wise was 5 miles an hour. And as I just showed you with all those other people, 10, 15, 20 miles an hour is not uncommon. So for someone watching this, proof is in the pudding, right? Those players that stepped up and did the things that they know that they needed to do, those are the players that got the best results. Those are the players that bugged mom and dad, hey, I need to do this because this is going to help me get to the next level. This is what's going to carry me through to get that scholarship that I need and we need as a family, right? I'm not going to sugarcoat anything. College is expensive. There's a reason why training is a thing, right? Because that ROI is something that helps not only your pocketbooks, but your kid's pocketbook in the future, right? The last thing anybody wants is to have college debt as a 22-year-old that is going to hold it for the next 20 years, right? So being able to take the passion and the obsession that your son has and able to utilize it with a mentor like myself that's been through exactly what these players are going through is gold. It's gold. And it's something that they can learn from, build themselves up, and gain those things that they want. Whether that's going to community college on a full scholarship, again, saving money, being smart financially, to then get more money from a Division I, Division II, NAI, whatever that looks like, right? The goal isn't always to make it to the big leagues. Now, most people that work with me, that is the goal because everybody sets out for the stars. And I love that. I will never tell your kid not to think like that. But again, the reality is we want to get 4 years of school paid for. That's what we want. So that you can get into life as an adult, and whether that is going to play professionally in indie ball for a couple years, going to play professionally in an organization for a few years, maybe make it to the big leagues, whatever that looks like, right? But we don't want to have stress because we need to make real money because we have so much debt. That's not what this is about. The proof is in the pudding of getting these players to the next level and getting them what they need in order to achieve those goals, right? This went a little bit different what I was expecting to go with kind of the college talk and then the professional talk, but it's the reality of the situation now. Everybody needs a return on the investment. And I just want to be straightforward with that. Like, that's my goal. My goal isn't for your kid to join my program and not get better. That looks terrible on me. I want them to get the best results ever so I can make a video just like this with your son gaining 15 miles an hour so I can help more players. That's the goal. If after watching this video, obviously you are interested and you want to watch this, I'm speaking directly to the parents in this one, not so much as to the player. If you're a parent that wants this for your son and you know that they can benefit from working with someone like me, go to my Instagram. There's an application in the middle piece of it if you want to fill that out. What I recommend is sending me a DM. DM me the word parents. That tells me specifically that you watch this video and that you're doing your homework. Most parents that go through this process are very eager to get on a call with me because they want to find out those fine numbers, what it costs, what that looks like lengthwise, what it really is going to look like for my player, where we go over a little bit of the app. This helps me a ton to know that you're a serious parent and you are actually interested in working with me to have your son get the best results as possible. So again, DM me the word parent. I'll see if your son's a great fit. If your son is a good fit, we'll talk about that call and we'll kind of get this thing moving and grooving. If there's any other questions you have, don't hesitate to drop a comment here or to, again, message me on Instagram. But I thank you for your time and I look forward to future conversations with parents watching this video.